All right, this is take like 17, but anyways, we'll do it anyways. Try to take a video.
I was on that cake prep meeting this morning, and Kim
Mm-hmm.
was trying to screen share, and it was going super slow. I wonder if
Yeah.
it's the districts.
Who knows?
Or,
Well, anyways, Tanner, you got to do this. I've checked it. Remember, this is what I sent to you. We did these as examples the other day. So you need to make sure you finish this paper right here. I'll send you a link to it. So what you have to do is write me a verbal description of what's happening based off this graph. You know, we're comparing total costs to a number of hours. You need to write your equation, like how much the slope, how much it's changing, where we're starting at. You can see that on your table here, how much we're changing by, what did we start at, and then be able to answer these questions, and then make sure you submit that. Okay, so that's one thing you need to do. All right. The second thing today is you need to make sure you finish your instruction on your classwork. So you'll need to go down here and start this one, finish this one up here. So that one right there. So you have this one right here to do 2 and 3 digit multipliers. You will go through there, and you can go through and go through the mini lesson showing you how to multiply when you have like 2 or 3 digits. As you go through, you can kind of see what happens as you go through here. And remember, the 7 will multiply by every number, the 3 will multiply by every number, but you'll have to include a 0 to change the place value when you get to the 3 because it's in a 10 spot. But go through each one and see how it does. Pick out a piece of paper and you can do that. Okay, so that's another thing you have to do. So make sure you finish this and that lesson. Okay, then, because this is past due, and so is this one, so make sure you get those taken care of. Then the other thing is what we want to be talking about are these IXLs, Y5 and Y6. So here's Y5. As you look at it here, this is graphing the line using your slope that you have of your line. So they're going to give you an equation. They're going to give you your slope here, which is 1/10, and a point that it includes, so 0, 0. So you need to plot that point first, like 0, 0. And then your slope says we're changing 1 for the y, 10 for the x. So that's where our next point is, and you can see your line there as you go forward. You do the same thing here. You're going to start at 0, 2. So 0, 2. And then your slope is 6. So that's 6 in the y direction. So that takes you up to 8. And then over 1. So up 6 for every 1x. And then you can see you've got your point there. So we started here at 0, 2. We went up 6 and over 1. And then we have our answer. If I do one more of these, you're starting at 0, 0. What does our slope say to do? Well, it says 1 in the y direction, 5 in the x direction. And there it is. See right here? 1 in the y direction, 5 in the x direction. So we're changing 1 y for every 5 x's. You can see that. So if I change 1 more y for 5 x's, you can see here at the next point at 210. So that's kind of what the pattern of the slope is. 1, up 1, right 5. Up 1, right 5. So it's up 1 in the y direction, 5 in the x direction. Okay, so that one is y5. You can do this one too, an 80 here. So if you do the same thing here, 4, 9. So you're going to graph 4, 9. And this says a slope of 1. So it's 1 over 1. So it's up 1 in the y direction from this point, up 1. So you're at 10. And over 1 more. And there's your point. So up 1, over 1, up 1 in the y direction, 1 in the x direction, and there's your line that kind of shows you what's happening there. And you can kind of see that, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. You see how it makes that staircase. Okay, so that's y5. The other one here that we're going to look at is y6. And I apologize, this is running a little slow for us. Y6 is the other one that's starred here for you. So when you do y6, this is graphing from an equation of a line. which is important to know how to do too, because we've been reading these things. Remember, you've been able to find where the b is the starting point and which one is your slope. Remember, y equals mx plus b, where b is the number at the end, and that's your beginning point. So that's 2. So we're going to always start at 2 on our y line. And then the 1 over 5 is your slope. So it's just like we did the other one. It gives you a point, and then we're just going to go up 1 in the y direction, over 5 in the x direction, and there's your new point. So you see the pattern is up 1 for the y, 5 for the x. And there you have your next point. I do one more on y6 here. Here's your point to begin with at 4. That's your b. Remember, we defined that. This is my slope, 2. This is my pattern. I'm changing 2 in the y direction and 1 for the x direction. So this is my beginning point. So I'm going to jump up 2 to 6 and over 1. I can jump up 2 more and over 1. See, I'm back on that line. Up 2 more, over 1. That was the pattern, just like we've been working on, just like that other homework assignment there. Show you one more here as we do. So this is your B here. This is your pattern or your slope. This is your change at 9. So we're changing by 9 after we graph our first beginning point at 1. Okay, so there's our first point at 1, always on the y line. So then we're going up 9 in the y direction. So we're at 1. When we add 9 to that, it gives me 10. And I go over 1. So I started here and I went up 9 spaces in the y direction and over 1 in the x direction. And bam. So same thing here. This one's a negative, so it's good. So we're going to start at 7. There's my B, my starting point. Here's my slope. My slope or my pattern is saying -1 over 5. So since it's negative, we're going to go down. So we're losing 1 in the y direction and gaining 5 in the x direction. So it's going to be a negative graph. So you can continue that down 1 over 5, and you see you're at the point there. So you can work at both of these IXLs here to 80. So it's Y5 and Y6. Make sure you do your classwork stuff, mini lesson there. Okay. And then also make sure you have finished this problem right here so that you can get that taken care of. I'll submit all of these on our Google Classroom so you can take a look at it. All right. I will see you on Tuesday. Same time, same bat channel, everything else. See you later, Tanner.